Okay, this video is going to take us through textbook chapter 5.2, implementing methods. And so yesterday, or on day one, what we did is we talked about a method that was written in the Java library for us to use. So this right here we said was a method call, and that math.pow is the method name, and it comes before parentheses. And this is a method call. It's calling the math.pow method or function. And we discussed how the 2 and the 3 are arguments, and that after it did its function, or its sequence of instructions, then it produced an 8.0, which was the return value, which was then stored in result. And so that's what we did there. Now we're going to step away from the Java library, and we're going to start writing our own methods, and we're going to see how that happens. So in here, then on page 2 of our notes, in the first piece of code here, we're going to trace this code and the code below that as well. We're going to trace those and show you what's going on. And so it starts off, of course, with the main method. And we've talked about how the main method is the method that automatically starts the program. So this main method automatically starts. It doesn't need a method call. When you run the program, this is what starts it. And so we said that a method is a sequence of instructions with a name. So we do have a name here. It's main, and the method is a sequence of instructions. So the main method has 2 instructions, line 11 and line 13. So the main method is actually going to do line 11 and line 13. That's all it's going to do. Everything else is going to be done outside of the main method. And so we say then here that the number of instructions in the main method is 2. There's 2 of them. So that's the sequence of instructions with the name main. So the main is doing that. Main method is doing those things. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start writing numbers to the side. So 1 is the first thing that we go to, that the compiler goes to, because that's what starts the program. The second thing that's going to happen is line 11 here. And so this right here, we should recognize from yesterday's notes, or day 1's notes, is that this is a method call. And the reason it's a method call is because it has the name of the method, which is welcome, and we have parentheses following that. All right, and so it's actually the welcome method is being called by the main method. The main method has the phone and calls welcome and says, "Hey, welcome, I need you to do something." And so the main method is calling welcome. It implements and executes the welcome method. All right, so the welcome method also has its own set of instructions to carry out. And so the main method is not going to do those instructions. The main method is calling up welcome to do those instructions. So this right here, we need to recognize this as a main method, or I'm sorry, as a method call, because it's got the name of the method followed by the parentheses. And this is like a landmark as far as tracing code with methods. A method will not start unless it's been called or executed, called or implemented by the method call. So since we're calling the welcome method, the logical place is to go to the welcome method. So we're not going to go to line 13 yet. The compiler is actually going to go to the method it's calling. So it's going to go down here to line 16. So this is the third spot, the third step. So this line of code is actually called a method declaration or header. So this is the declaration of the welcome method, or it's the welcome method header, just like we have a main method header up here. So this declares the method in this program. Variable calls are variable declarations. They reserve a memory location in the computer memory. I'm not sure exactly what this means, that it's declaring a method, but it establishes this method so that it can function, it carry out its instructions. So the key thing here is that the other thing that we can point out here is that you see the welcome is the name of the method, and we're calling that method, so it's easy to know where the compiler goes after that method call line. So it goes from line 11 to 16 because it's connected by the name of the method being called. All right, now we're ready. Now the welcome method has been declared, so now it's ready to carry out its instructions. Well, the question is, how many instructions are there for the welcome method to carry out? Well, there are 3. So they're in between the curly braces, just like up here in the main method. The curly braces establish the body of the method. And it's in between those curly braces that you have the instructions, or the sequence of instructions that need to be carried out by that method. The main method does 2 things. It calls welcome, and it prints out things for listening. The welcome method is going to do 3 print statements. It's going to execute those 3 print statements. And so we have the 4th thing that the compiler goes to is here. And the next line, of course, this will be the 5th step, and then this is the 6th step. Now, I do need to back up just briefly here. We have this word void up here. Now, void is in the spot where the return type is, the data type of the return value. Now, because there's no return value, it's not going to have a return type. So it's going to be void. So void means nothing or empty. So there is no return type because there is no return value. There's no data type of a return value. Okay, so that's how that goes. We have the name. Okay, and then we're not going to discuss public and static. That'll be at a later time if we cover that at all. Right now, we just know that when we write a method header, we start with public and static. All right, so then after the welcome method has executed these 3 lines of code, then we have the end here. And so remember, the end of a method, we always return to method call. Okay, so we return to method call. So we are going to take back here and we're going to return to the method call. So number 7 is the line that was our 2nd step as well. Now, in this case, there's nothing to do, but sometimes there will be. So I just want you to get used to returning to the method call all the time. And then you determine whether there's something else for the compiler to do or not. In this case, there is not anything else to do. All this is a method call, period. That's it. Now, we go to the next line down here, which is then the print. Thanks for listening. All right, so that is the end now. And I don't think I made a thing for that, but basically let me see where to go. Right here, what we want to do is then we would want to say end of main method, end of program. All right, so this curly brace is the end of the main method, so it's the end of the program. When the program starts it, the main method starts the program and ends the program. All right, so that's it for A, and the next video is going to cover what happens with the code in line B, which will be a little bit more involved there.